Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bros. Here, and King of Games is done once again for this month. Unfortunately, it came at a very high price. Early in the month, I had already committed to doing this with Red Dragon Archfiend this month, and then an emergency ban list just became known. Yusei is just straight up dead. Pure Synchron builds have been absolutely massacred. Quasar to Limit 3, Stardust Synchron Limit 3, Satellite Warrior Limit 3, on top of massive skill nerfs that were just overdone. I'll go over that when I discuss the ban list another time. Yeah, pure builds are dead. The only way for Synchron to remain consistent now is with the Centur-ion engine, and put bluntly, I refuse. I was already getting bored of Starlight Drive relying on one end board every time and needing the Sky Striker engine to get there, and now it's just that all over again with a different coat of paint. I'm not sitting through that a second time. It feels soulless after I had been proving Pure Synchron could work without the Centur-ion engine, that it's what needed to go, and now it's the only way for the skill to remain as consistent as it once was. Yeah, I refuse. Just saying. So, as of right now, Jack is taking up the mantle to avenge his fallen comrade. This is Red Crimson Dragon Archfiend, with the new skill of choice, Invincible Crimson Star. You can only use this skill's second and third effects once per duel. First effect, at the beginning of the duel, add one Red Dragon Archfiend and one Scarred Dragon Archfiend to your extra deck. During this duel, you cannot normal or special summon any monsters except for Dark Dragon type Synchro monsters, Level 5 or lower Dragon or Fiend type monsters, or Crimson Dragon. Second effect, send one card in your hand and one card you control to the graveyard, then play one level 8 Red Dragon Archfiend monster from your extra deck and face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. If Red Familiar was sent to the graveyard for this activation, you can also play up to 2 Resonator monsters from your deck. Third and final effect, if you control Red Nova Dragon or if your opponent controls a monster, add one Dragon or Fiend type tuner from your deck to your hand, then set one Fiendish team from outside of your deck to your field. This can be activated on the same turn. You may recognize this as essentially a buffed version of Witness Why I Am Known as the True King, because that's basically what it is. But as for the cards I don't play in the main deck proper, we're starting with Scarred Dragon Archfiend. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is sent from the Monster Zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. This is treated as a Synchro Summon. Then, if this card was sent to the graveyard as Synchro material for a Dark Dragon type Synchro monster, you can destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Scarred Dragon Archfiend once per turn. And Fiendish Chain. Activate this card by targeting one effect monster on the field. Negate the effects of that face-up monster while it is on the field. Also, that face-up monster cannot attack. When it is destroyed, destroy this card. This gets around even Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, so keep that in mind. Anyway, on to the deck proper, starting with double Red Familiar. You contribute one Fiend-type monster, then target one Dark Dragon-type Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Dark Dragon-type Synchro monster you control and declare a level from 1 to 8 different from its original level, or at least its current level. That monster becomes that level until the end of this turn. Each effect is once per turn. So really, this is just in here to facilitate the skill. That's why we only play 2, because we can search this with Soul Resonator, we can search this with Resonator Command. A very overlooked quick play spell, I will say. The one Shining Star Dragon. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target one Dragon-type Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon this card, and if you do, special summon that monster but negate its effects. Then, immediately after that particular part of the effect resolves, because if this gets banished from the graveyard, yeah, Shining Star can't Synchro Summon, you can Synchro Summon one Dragon-type Synchro monster using this card you control. This effect is once per turn. A Dragon-type Synchro monster that was Synchro Summoned using this card's material cannot be destroyed by battle. Triple Soul Resonator. Unlike before where we played 2 Soul Resonator because it was easier to search Soul than it was to search Crimson, now Soul is the core of the deck in full. We need 3 of these this time around. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one level 4 or lower Fiend-type monster from your deck to your hand except for Soul Resonator. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Dark Synchro monsters. If a card or cards you control be destroyed by card effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Each effect is once per turn. We have the one Skullmeister in here because this is actually searchable by means of Soul Resonator or Resonator Command. During either player's turn, when a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the effect. Pretty simple, very effective. Double Crimson Resonator. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If the only other monster you control is exactly one Dark Dragon type Synchro monster, you can special summon up to 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck except for Crimson Resonator. Each effect is once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for Dark Dragon type Synchro monsters. During the turn, you activate either of this card's effects. There is some Centur-ion in here. Centur-ion Atri. If this card you control be used as Synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Atri once per turn. If this card is normally special summoned and you have both an Emblema card and a Centur-ion card in your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Atri for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. There is only one reason I put this in here, and it's a really funny tech I will get to in a moment. Double Bone Archfiend. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Dark Dragon type Synchro monsters. You can target one face-up monster you control that has a level. Send one Fiend type tuner from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, increase or decrease that monster's level by 1. Each effect is once per turn. So Bone Archfiend isn't as important as it used to be, but it does still come up enough to where 2 is still essential, I thought. Double Vision Resonator. If a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Vision Resonator once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a spell or trap card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. This effect is once per turn. Next up is Synchron Resonator. If a Synchron monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Synchron Resonator once per turn this way. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a Resonator monster in your graveyard, not once per turn, except for Synchron Resonator, and add it to your hand. So this can recur multiple times, as little as that does come up, but it does happen. It's amusing. Next up we have Tuning Gun. You can target one face-up monster you control. That face-up monster is treated as a tuner monster this turn. You only use this effect of Tuning Gun once per turn, and you can only attack with Synchro monsters during the turn you activate this effect. That's not what we care about. We only care about this. During either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that targets exactly one Synchro monster you control and no other cards, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation. That is huge in mirror matches. Sometimes you will see Red Dragon Archfiend mirror matches. You want to get the Tuning Gun to block off the Fiendish Golem, because if they banish Scar Dragon Archfiend, you've got nothing left usually. That is it for monsters on dispels and our 1 trap. Triple Forbidden Droplet. Send any number of other cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Choose that from many effect monsters your opponent controls. And until the end of this turn, their attack is halved, also their effects are negated. In response to this card's activation, your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original type, monster, spell, or trap respectively, as the card you sent to the graveyard to activate this card. You can only activate 1 Forbidden Droplet per turn. So Forbidden Droplet is actually really amusing in this version of the build. Not only is it kind of essential, unfortunately, but at least with Scar Dragon Archfiend, you can pitch that if absolutely necessary. Usually it's not. And that'll actually let you float into Red Dragon Archfiend anyway. Generally here, it's just a good board breaker. It's essential. I just think you need it this go around. Plus, since we can set Fiendish Chain from outside the deck, that's a free way to get around counter traps. I will say that much. We have the 1 Synchro Rumble. Target 1 tuner or 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type Synchro monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position, also for the rest of this turn. After this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Synchro monsters. If a level 7 or level 8 dragon type Synchro monsters or Crimson Dragon you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, and you can only activate 1 Synchro Rumble per turn. Triple Crimson Gaia. During your main phase, you can add 1 Red Dragon Archfiend or 1 card that mentions it in your deck or graveyard to your hand, except for Crimson Gaia, of course. When your Red Dragon Archfiend declares an attack, you can change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. If a monster or monsters on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. Each effect is once per turn. Let me tell you something when it comes to board breaking. It all goes back to Crimson Gaia. You'll understand what I mean soon enough. Triple Resonator Call, add a Resonator monster from deck to hand. Very simple, very straightforward. Double Resonator Command. Do not sleep on this spell, folks. It is so good. Discard one Resonator monster. Add one level 4 lower fiend type monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Resonator Command per turn. This is basically Soul Resonator Search in spell form, and if you're discarding Vision Resonator, you're also getting a spell trap. Scarlet Security. If you control a Red Dragon Archfiend, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. This is our one form of back row removal, but it's non-targeting removal, so that's very important against Destiny Hero. It's mandatory even. And for our one trap, we have the Fiendish Golem. Target one monster on the field with 2,000 or more attack points. Banish it until the end phase of the next turn. Then, if you activate this card, while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it, you can set one Fiendish Chain directly from your deck or graveyard. That is it for the main deck. On to the extra deck, starting with the Crimson Dragon. If this card is special summoned, you can add a spell or trap card that mentions Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand. Quick effect. You can target one level 7 or higher synchro monster on the field except for Crimson Dragon, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon one Dragon type synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster. This is treated as a synchro summon. Each effect is once per turn. So, we're usually making this thing on the opponent's turn more often than not, which is actually really good because generally this gives us a way around Lava Golem, which we did not have previously. Red Supernova Dragon must first be synchro summoned. Gains 500 attack points for each tuner monster in your graveyard, cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, when your opponent's monster effect is activated or when an opponent's monster declares an attack. Quick effect, you can activate this effect, banish this card, also banish all cards your opponent controls. Once per turn during your next end phase. After this card was banished by its own effect, special summon this banished card. Next up, we got Red Nova Dragon. This card gains 500 attack points for each tuner monster in your graveyard and cannot be destroyed by the opponent's card effects. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate that attack. During the next end phase, special summon this card banished by this effect. I keep seeing people put this in the extra monster zone, and I don't understand why. You always put it in the main monster zone in case you have to banish it. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. During each player's turn, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one tuner monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. You can only use each effect of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss once per turn. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can destroy as many special summoned effect monsters on the field as possible with attack points less than or equal to this card's, other than this card, then inflict 250 damage to your opponent, 500 in the original card text, for each monster destroyed. This is not a true once per turn, so if you activate this, go into Bane and then bring this back, you can activate it again. That's come up on a few occasions. Red Dragon Archfiend, the OG himself. After damage calculation, if this card attacks a defense position monster your opponent controls, destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls. During your end phase, destroy all the monsters you control but did not declare an attack this turn. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. Red Rising Dragon. Be careful about trying to summon this against Buster Blader. You're probably not going to be able to. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target one Resonator monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can not special summon monsters from the extra deck during the turn you activate this effect, except for Dark Dragon type synchro monsters. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 2 level 1 Resonator monsters in your graveyard and special summon both of them. That never comes up. This is just an insurance policy for synchro climbing if need be, and if we open like Bone Archfiend, Crimson, and Soul, or like Crimson and Soul, we can just go Bone Archfiend off of normal summon Soul, and we can just climb without needing the first skill effect, so we can hold that for later. But we can also get Tuning Gum into the graveyard, which will be really helpful because, well, targeting protection is targeting protection, that's just really good. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. You can tribute one monster, then target one Red Dragon Archfiend monster in your graveyard and special summon it. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon up to 2 tuner monsters with the same level, one from your deck and one from your graveyard, in defense position. You will use each effect of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane once per turn. And lastly, Centur-ion Auxilla. Face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Auxilia once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add a Centur-ion card from your deck to your hand. During the end phase, you can place one of your non-synchro Centur-ion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap card. We're never actually doing that. We actually care about the search, so hear me out on this. Shining Star Dragon on an opponent's turn goes Scar Dragon Archfiend. Go Centur-ion Auxilia. That's a Dark Dragon type synchro monster. We chain 1 Auxilia, and then chain 2 Scar Dragon Archfiend. Most people aren't going to know about this. But what this does is it lets you go into Red Dragon Archfiend, blow up all attack position monsters, in particular Quasar in this situation, right? But that's going to miss timing because you're searching for Archfiend, which is a Dark Dragon tuner that can be treated as a non-tuner, so this thing becomes a follow-up if necessary that is searchable by the Auxilia you make on the opponent's turn that causes Quasar to miss timing. That's not going to matter much anymore because, well, pure Synchron builds are dead, but if you're done with like the Centur-ion engine, you might still want to consider that. But anyway, that is it for the deck. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm still sick of seeing the Centur-ion stuff in here, but at least here, it's a small package and not a true engine. And really, you don't even necessarily need Archery if you don't really want to run it. I just did it for a really funny tech against Quasar. But with that, let's get on to the replays. I've got a couple of bonus replays, but I'm not sure which ones I want to show this time. I think, if I remember this correctly, that was a pretty good mirror match. I think it was this one. So, let's start with this. So, here we go. This is going to be one of the last times you see Yusei, probably, because he's about to be massacred, dude. It's not even funny.
There's only one way to duel. Our fight. Yusei, you disrupt. Duel! It's mine! I activate my continuous Crimson Gaia's effect activates! Here's my tuner monster!
So we've got the Soul Resonator.
Resonator activates its effect! I activate my Quick Play spell! Resonator command! Vision Resonator activates when it's sent to the graveyard! Bone Archfiend can activate for Bone Archfiend!
So I set up Resonator command this way specifically because, yeah, I primarily just wanted access to the Skullmeister in this matchup. Skullmeister really comes up here specifically, and in no other matchup does it really feel like it matters to this degree.
Fly! Red Rising Dragon! The tuner monster! I activate Crimson the tuner monster! My tuner monster leaves scars across the land to remind them you were here! Synchro Summon!
But you pretty much
Show
know.
yourself! Scar Dragon Archfiend!
Also, that is like one of the best deliveries for the new voice lines for Dub Jack. So good.
It's great! Synchro Summon!
You can tell he's still got it. But anyway, you pretty much know how this combo works from here.
Scar Dragon Archfiend Synchron Resonator's effect activates. Witness why I am known as the my soul. My tuner
RDA, go Vision.
known as the stars high above in the sky. Rise.
And we'll worry about Red Nova later because that animation is absolute fire. I don't want to show the full thing quite yet.
And it's with power. That ends my turn. It's my turn. I draw. Our fight.
So, Converging Stars.
I'll rev it up to blast through my limitations.
Yeah, Red Nova versus Quasar, we're not going to get to see that happen.
I activate shiny.
So here's the ambiguity of
Here's
this.
my tuner monster. Show yourself. Watch this. Synchro.
We just casually make Auxilia.
You best try.
Chain 1 the Auxilla,
Dragon
Chain
Archfiend
2 Scarred.
activates its effect. Witness why
He
I
lets this go
know
through, but even if he doesn't let it go through, you have Fiendish Chain.
From my hand.
Because we searched
Activate a
Autry,
spell code.
he can't bring out Shooting Star Dragon.
Fiendish Golem. Hot red dragon Archfiend Abyss's effect.
And yeah, we have Fiendish Golem to help us against Dark Ruler no more.
First step.
It's so good.
Synchro Summon. Take flight. Since I synchro using Stardust Trail, the Synchro Summon act. I'm counting on the Stardust Synchron can activate from the hand.
We're not letting that happen, buddy.
Synchro Stardust Dragon's effect. The hopes of the world coalesce into a. Take flight. I Synchro Summon a monster. Take to the. Synchro Summoning Satellite Warrior lets me use its effect. Stardust Trail can activate from my
Cool
hand.
beans, I've got Soul
Stardust
Resonator, buddy.
Trail. I set a card. I end my turn. Don't expect me to slip. I draw. Crimson Gaia's effect. I play my trap card. Hot red dragon Archfiend Abyss's a Shining Star Dragon activates its effect from my hand.
Now, why did you do that?
Lunar monster. Evolve.
I think he was expecting, like, Livestream and Trail could make Crimson Dragon, but that's not how that works. And even then, like, I had Fiendish Chain. I was ready
Using
regardless.
Stardust Trail, the Synchro Summon activates its effect. From my hand, I activate a quick play spell.
So I decided to just disrespect, pitch the Autry, and we just
Special summon a
go for game that way.
Kneel before your king. Red Nova Yusei.
So, there's that. But now, I want to show this mirror match because, in particular, I'm really proud of this one. This was pretty good. So remember how I said Tuning Gun does come up in the mirror match?
I'm the one who will conquer this duel. I'll show you that my soul still blazes. Duel! It's might! I activate my continuous spell. Here's my tuna monster, summoning Soul Resonator.
So he's gonna make the full board, right?
Crimson Gaia's effect activates. I'm the one who... Show your... I activate Crimson the Tuna Monster. My Tuna Monster, behold as the stars high above in the rise. Scarred Dragon Archfiend at Vision Resonator activates when it's sent to the graveyard. Witness
Yeah, Ghost, Scarlet Security, do whatever you feel like, bro. I don't care.
Allow me. I set a card. The King of Dark Abyss Unleashed. Hot red.
Grabs the Abyss,
Synchron Resonator's effect activates.
puts it in defense, and that's gonna come back to bite him.
I end my turn. Don't expect me to slip.
He even put the Red Nova Altar in defense, which again is gonna come back to bite him.
From my hand, I activate a quick play spell.
Pitch the Bone Archfiend, since, well, its graveyard effect is always gonna be live.
You best try
and then puts me under Duel. Quick Flame Resonator command, buddy. Pitch the soul, go for the red familiar, set the tuning gum, and I'm all set to go.
Show yourself! Scar Dragon Archfiend! I activate Shining Star Dragon. Here's my tuner monster. Show yourself!
Brother, do you really want to play that game? If you go Auxilla, I have Soul Resonator, buddy.
Crimson Scar Dragon Archfiend. Witness why I am known as the Crimson Dragon.
So he goes for the target on Scarred. I don't understand why you wouldn't go for your own Red Nova, but even then, it's not going to matter.
The King. Dark. This unleash. Hot red. Scar Dragon Archfiend. I activate my trap. Fiendish. I activate my monster's effect.
Block the chain.
I activate my trap. Hot red.
So Abyss can safely block the Golem.
Activates.
And there we go.
Witness why I am known as the
RDA comes up.
I banish Red Familiar from the graveyard, from the ancient chasms of
And we go Starlight.
Right.
And I'm not even done.
Starlight, Red Dragon Archfiend.
So that triggers his Soul Resonator, which I don't care about.
Vision resonates. Mountains will crumble. The land is in
We go for Bane.
hot red.
Bone Archfiend can still activate.
Archfiend. Hot red dragon.
Bane tributes the Bone Archfiend to bring back Starlight.
Starlight, Red Dragon Archfiend's effect at Crimson Gaia's effect.
And him putting that Red Nova in defense has now come back to bite him.
Let's back attack Red Nova Dragon. Act out of your effect.
He's already used up Scarred's effect. He's already used up Crimson Gaia.
Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. Great Summit Breaker.
Kaboom! There we go. Now that's more like it. No Red Nova, no Red Supernova? No problem.
You've had your fun, but it's time for my victory lap.
That's how we do. That is how we do. And now things get a bit annoying for one last bonus replay before the climb proper. As you can see, we have Sawatari. It's definitely not Monarchs, that's for sure. It's Precious Cards of the Wind. And when you meet Precious Cards of the Wind, there's only one thing that comes to mind. Hi, Lyrilisk. And this is purely so they can play Ghost Fairy Elphobia, which they won't be able to do anymore because I got them at 1. And Lava Golem.
If you have
Even worse, he's going first.
What's more perfect than perfect? Spoiler.
That's a huge problem.
Here I go. I activate. Things are about to get more I activate my monster.
Goes for the Celestine Wagtail.
Here I go. I exceed summon a monster.
Recital Starling is a go.
My monster's effect.
Search the Cobalt, which
I
is really
activate My
annoying.
monster's Here I go. I activate my monster's effect.
If you're gonna do Precious Cards of the Wind with Lyrilisk, put it on its actual character, please. Just saying.
The overlay network. Exceed summon.
She has the skill. Use it!
I activate my monster's effect.
And people wonder why I hate the Precious Card skills.
Monster's effect.
I personally believe Precious Cards, not only should those skills have never been buffed, they should have never been made.
I activate a continuous spell. I activate a continuous spell. Watch this.
Makes Link
I
Karibo.
link summon. I activate my monsters. Here I go. Here I go.
Yay! Don't you love untargetable boss monsters?
I'm setting. I activate a continuous. That ends
don't
my turn.
expect me to slip. I drop.
We'll see about that.
Power Sync
We'll see
Stone?
about
Please, buddy, I don't
that.
care.
Activate my.
I activate my continuous Crimson
Crimson Gaia, buddy.
Activates my soul. Here's My tuner monster, summoning Soul Resonator, activates its effect.
Go for the gum and the soul.
I activate my spell card.
And buddy, I'm more than willing to just sit on just RDA. I don't know why you attributed that link, Kariba. There was no point to that. These monsters have no defense to begin with, so it's not like anything's happening. And you forgot how RDA works. Kaboom!
My turn. Go ahead.
So you've lost your assembled Nightingale. Now you're about to draw 2 again because Precious Cards was a mistake.
My monster's effect. Here I go. Here I go. I exceed summon a monster.
Goes for the Recital Starling.
I activate my monster.
I end up thinking about this one for a bit, but I end up choosing to just go ahead for the Fiendish Chain now.
Fiendish Chain.
And that proved to be the correct decision. It must have been 2 Lava Golems in hand because, well, only sitting on the 1 RDA, you're cooked. You're absolutely cooked, buddy. That wasn't gonna work. But with that, onto the climb proper, which only actually took 3 attempts this time. Pretty nice. So, you're playing Chimera, and you basically didn't have Lava Golem, you didn't have Radiant, you didn't have Sphere Mode, and you're playing Precious Cards of the Dark. My guy, if you're gonna do that, just play Chimera Illusions on Yami Yugi at that point. Just saying. And pardon if you hear like a fan or something, yeah, Summer Heat is a pain in the neck.
Heavy is the time to duel. It's my turn. I activate my spell card.
So we go straight for the res call.
My tuner monster, summoning Soul Resonator.
Soul will get me familiar. And here I play the 2 on purpose because if he has like a Veiler or something, or he might have already had the Veiler, but even then, like, I just played through that. I don't care. So Vision in this case is just gonna go straight for Fiendish Golem. If you have the Forbidden Droplet, you'd rather just go straight Fiendish Golem, not bother with Crimson Gaia, and on Golem, Droplet and Chain. On top of your usual board. Like, this is just the usual board, folks. We're not ending on, like, Abyss, Red Nova, and Void Ogre, or freaking Abyss, Red Nova, and Buster Dragon anymore. We're just ending on these 2. Because this beats Lava Golem, and it opens up Shining Star Dragon to make Crimson Dragon on the opponent's turn if necessary, or Centur-ion Auxilla, as mentioned before. Yeah, I'm just gonna banish. I don't really care. Yeah, I think he just knew. I think he just knew. Scarred, yay. And in this case, I do actually make Crimson Dragon. Because since he got rid of his Mirror Sword Knight, he already knows about Auxilla. But that opened up Crimson Dragon. That's the beauty of this. The threat of that Auxilla pop on the opponent's turn with Scar Dragon Archfiend's effect in the graveyard can open up Crimson Dragon instead if they panic and do it too early. That is so good.
I activate my monsters. Special summoning Scar Dragon Archfiend activates my monsters effect.
He had Skullmeister, but ironically, I don't care enough about that. Bro, the Chain Link 8! What is this?
Triple tuning. While the
This is also the only way you're realistically making Red Supernova, by the way. So we block that, block the Gazelle. Unfortunately, Scarred gets blocked, but oh well, I don't really care. So, top decking the tuning gum, I decided to be a little bit funny about this.
I activate my continuous spell. Crimson Gaia's effect activates.
Grab Soul for the memes, even though I really should have grabbed Vision. Specialty Vision here. Only to sack it and bring back Abyss. I'm going to be that guy.
Take this direct attack.
Big number. That is how we do.
There's only
So next up we have Odeon. And it's Labyrinth. So, yay! Temple of the King, searchable kaiju, searchable sphere mode. Why was this skill even a thing in the first place?
my heavy is the.
I shall duel!
It's my turn.
That's a mistake.
And right away, he goes for setting the field spell. That's kind of a huge mistake. This is Red Dragon Archfiend. You already know about this. What are we doing?
Soul Resonator. Summoning soul.
So you went -2 for a field spell you're not even going to get to keep.
Crimson Gaia's effect.
As I'm about to prove to you right now. What are we doing?
I activate my spell.
I mean, spell security, that's what we're doing, but...
My
Wait,
tuner monster.
dude!
Vision Resonator.
You went -2 for nothing! What are we doing?
The stars high above in the sky. Rise. Sky Dragon Archfiend Vision Resonator.
So we grab the Golem. You pretty much know the drill at this point. We're kind of just doing the same old end board.
I am known as the true.
Now, before y'all say anything, unlike with Synchron in the current state of things, at least Red Dragon Archfiend can do this on its own power and has multiple follow-ups on the opponent's turn.
Fury of my.
We're doing this with our own cards, so pipe down. Just saying.
The king of the dark abyss unleashes its rage. Hot red dragon.
We also kind of have to do it this way because not only is this kind of just our best end board in this version, but on top of that, yeah?
Go ahead. Attack.
Falling into my trap. You just don't.
Golem and Seer Mode are still everywhere. We can't overextend.
Your draw.
Hot red dragon.
Just go ahead and block that with Abyss outright.
Activates.
Go right ahead, Kaiju my Red Nova, see what I care.
I activate Shining Star Dragon's effect. Here's my tuner monster.
But you may notice I don't synchro
I
summon.
activate my trap. Fiendish
That's
golem.
bad. That ends
Don't
my
expect
turn.
me to slow. I draw.
Behold! Come out!
Welcome, Labyrinth.
Look upon your doom.
From my hand.
My monsters of
I
Droplet's gonna pitch the Vision.
activate spell. Vision Resonator activates when it's sent to the
Big welcome, Labyrinth, that I'm going to stop.
Abyss's effect activates. Crimson Gaia's effect activates. I activate my spell card. Stars, I synchro summon a monster. Crimson Dragon. Special summoning Crimson Dragon.
So, Crimson goes ahead and gets me my Synchro Rumble, which I'm actually going to use this time to bring back Soul Resonator specifically.
Summoning Soul Resonator activates its effect.
Soul gets me Meister.
Then activated from the Bone Archfiend. I activate Bone Archfiend's effect. Witness why I am known as the true king. Synchro. My soul. Crimson Dragon activates its effect from the ancient chasm.
Why not just go boom?
My
If we're going all in, we're gonna go all the way, right?
Dragon Archfiend.
I have lost.
It all goes back to Crimson Gaia. This is what I was talking about.
Step closer to a
And so up next, we've got Centur-ion with its actual skill. Unheard of, I know. And believe it or not, the skill's actually pretty decent.
So, I have the remove your speed duel. It's my. Here's my tuna monster. Summoning Soul Resonator activates.
So this was kind of an unfortunate board to have to work with.
Show yourself.
Or at least an unfortunate hand to have to work with.
My tuna monster.
But
tuna monster.
this works out quite nicely for what I need.
The stars high above in the sky. Rise. Sky Dragon Archfiend.
Red Nova into the usual stuff. Grab the golem outright.
The king. This unleash. Hot red.
Go straight to Abyss.
Synchron resonator.
Take back Vision. And this is where Resonator Command becomes especially useful at searching out our good boy Skullmeister. It's a second Soul Resonator Surge. I'm not even joking.
I activate my continuous spot. Crimson Gaia effect activates. I end my turn.
Allow me to proceed.
Go ahead. I draw. Are you?
This is nuts. This is actually insane.
My strategy. From my hand. I activate Shining Star Dragon's effect from my hand.
So here, I actually do prefer having access to,
Show yourself.
what was it, Crimson Dragon here? Because Red Supernova is gonna come up
Crimson Dragon.
if he tries to do monster effects. I can get rid of the field spell, I can get rid of anything in his spell trap zone, and on top of all of this, I get rid of the monsters on his field that are already there, including the tokens, if absolutely necessary.
Crimson Dragon activates its effect. I activate my monster's effect. Watch this. Triple tuning. While the let your make your witness why I am known as my. I activate my monster. Red Supernova Dragon. I activate my monster's effect. I activate my trap.
He tries to turn that effect into placing a Centur-ion in the spell trap zone instead of banishing his stuff. I'm just gonna say no to that, buddy. Gonna say no to that too, because I just don't feel like letting you generate advantage.
From my hand, I activate my
he has Emblem of Oath and Centur-ion Phalanx in the graveyard, so it's a free draw.
Watch this.
This is fine. Crimson Dragon, yeah, whatever, buddy. Whatever you target, I'm just gonna go ahead and Fiendish Golem, because a little unknown thing about Crimson Dragon that you might want to know about, if its target leaves the field before it returns to the extra deck, the entire effect fizzles, and it gets sent back to the extra deck. Like so.
You've had your
So next up, we've got the Red Dragon Archfiend mirror match once again. You may notice a severe lack of Yusei. Yeah, the moment Yusei gets anything, Konami just says no. I get it was Tier 0, but there were other ways you could have gone about it rather than just killing off pure builds for Centur-ion Engine's War Crimes and leaving the Centur-ion Engine alive. You can't even kill a deck right, Konami. What are we doing?
witness the power of the Enforcers.
If you can't tell, I am quite infuriated by this ban list, but for several reasons beyond the usual, oh, we're dead again.
Remove your training wheels if you want to keep up with me.
So I'm going second. If I was going first, this would have been a hard brick.
Here's my tuna monster. Summoning Soul Resonator activates its effect. I'm the one.
We can somewhat play through this, actually.
I activate my tuna monster. Tuna monster. Seeking home as the stars high above in the sky. The fire deep. Rise. Red Archfiend. Vision Resonator activates when it's sent to the graveyard.
Alright, boy, you think you're funny?
That's why I am known as the true myself. Allow me to explain. I activate my continuous Crimson Dia's effect activates. I set a card. The King of Dark Abyss Unleashed. Hot Red. Synchron Resonator's effect activates.
I just realized I never did do the summon animations for Red Nova or
My turn. Go ahead. Don't expect
RDA. Oh wow.
I draw. I activate my spell card. Resonator Core. When I have no monsters, I can bring out Crimson Resonator. The Tuna Monster.
Anyway, Crimson hits the field. I'm gonna go for the soul.
Here's my Tuna Monster summoning Soul.
Try and bait the interaction. He doesn't bite.
My
Go for the tuning gum just to pitch that and the soul. This is where tuning gum comes up, folks.
I activate my trap.
He goes
Activate my
golem
monster
here.
effect.
That's why we have tuning gum.
I activate Shining Star Dragons. Here's my Tuna Monster. Show yourself. I sync.
Once again, if you go Auxilla, buddy, I'm ready for you.
Crimson Dragon. Scar Dragon Arch. Witness why I am known as my. Crimson Dragon activates its effect. I activate my trap.
Go over the Fiendish Chain to threaten that. Abyss says no.
Effect activates.
We're down to having to worry about Fiendish Chain, which I can deal with very easily.
I activate Crimson Red Supernova Dragon. Activates its
How about we don't and say we did? Alright, buddy? Alright? Alright.
My Tuna Monster. The Tuna Monster. Synchro. I activate my spell card. Synchro. The Tuna Monster. Crimson. Behold, as the stars high above in the sky. Scar Dragon Archfiend Vision Resonator activates when it's sent to the graveyard. Witness why I am known as the.
Go ahead and grab all the usual sauce.
I activate my continuous spell, the King of Dark Abyss Unleashed.
Now, as you can see, that's game. You might think, oh, I misplay with the Synchron Resonator. Actually, no, there is a reason I do this.
Dia's effect activates.
And in part it was to be him, but still.
I set up my Tuna Monster. Flicker. I activate my trap. Hot Red Dragon.
If you want to play that game, buddy, go right ahead.
Activates. Vision Resonator. Crimson Dia's effect activates. My.
It all goes back to Crimson Gaia, but even then, nah. Here's all I have to say to this. Buddy, cool story. Unfortunately for you, mine's better.
How could we fail? With every duel, my techniques are getting more powerful. And one.
And that's how we do. So, final game, I will get to at least show Red Dragon Archfiend's animation, but I don't end up getting to go into Red Nova. Why? Sword Soul. But here's where this gets weird. This is Sword Soul, right? With intertwining memories. So, of course, you should be playing Fallen of Albaz as privileged and... I despise that thing and want it out of the game. Just take Albaz out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Make it its own separate card game, because that's clearly what you want to do, Konami.
Heavy as the king.
You shouldn't under Duel. You haven't seen anything. My monsters are
But I can confirm, this guy was not playing Fallen of Albaz at all. And also, intertwining memories, yet you're playing Iris Sword Soul. What are we doing?
You're perfect. I synchro summon a monster. My
Catching Long-Yuan.
You
You're
think you're
perfect.
so
I
smart.
summon a monster. My monster's effect activate. You're perfect. Here I go.
Rakishin Long-Yuan, whatever.
Synchro summon a monster.
What are we doing? Why are we not making
monster's effect
changing?
activates.
Grabs Golden Sword Soul to get the skill off. Oh yeah, Blackout. Yeah, whatever. Cool story, bro. Who cares? It's Albaz stuff. For some reason, Sword Soul doesn't feel like it should be related to Albaz. And honestly, it'd be way cooler if it wasn't.
Come on out.
Don't expect me to slip. I draw my soul. Here's my tuna monster. Summoning Soul Resonator activate. What?
Has Divine Wrap for some reason? What are we doing?
From my hand, I activate a quick play spell. There's only one. Show yourself. I activate my continuous spell.
Take
Crimson Gaia.
I activate a face down card. My turn.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Crimson Gaia, the best
Take
activate.
My monster's effect activates. Take this. Come on out. I special summon.
My tuna monster. The mountains will crumble. The land is engulfed. Hot red. Scarred Dragon Art Vision Resonator activates when it's sent
Exactly
to
what
the
I was waiting
graveyard.
for.
Unfortunately, Bane goes down here, but Crimson Guy is gonna trigger here because of that.
Witness why I am known as the true king. Synchro Summon. My soul. Red Dragon Archfiend.
Anyway, yeah, this is kind of a dire situation because I can't push for game here because of all this.
I'm setting a card. Battle. Attack. Red Dragon Archfiend's effective.
So if he top decks or if he already had something, I'm in trouble.
I'll finish you soon enough.
I may be in a
I
pickle.
end my
My
turn.
turn. Ugh, maybe this'll do the trick.
Top decks Ecclesia. I hate it here. Albaz privilege, I swear.
Come on out. Ice. My monster's effect activate.
But again, as you're about to see, he goes for Moya and not Albaz. If he went for Albaz, I was cooked.
I hope you can help me. You're perfect. I synchro summon a monster. My
Goes
monster's effect.
Draco, which, fine, sure, I get it, but like,
Come on
eh?
Ice, come on out. Here I go. I synchro summon a my monster's effect. You're perfect.
Burns for another 600, goes for the tie-up play. I'm just gonna finish Golem that Cheng-Yang.
I'm setting a card.
That'll get Fiendish Chain in play, right? So, here we go. Brings out Shishao. He ran out of time, but even then, Crimson Gaia saves me
There's
here.
only one master of faster, and that's me.
Then on my next turn, whatever I draw, right? Crimson Gaia, go for the Vision Resonator. Special Vision. Or was it Crimson Dragon? No, was it Crimson Gaia go for Soul? Either way, no matter what he did. I go Soul, I guess. Soul Search Synchron. If he goes to negate that with Shishao, I have Fiendish Chain. Either way you look at it, he had nothing left. I could just keep going. Or I could just do, like, Fiendish Chain, the Shishao, just go RDA and the Scar, and just go from there. Either way you look at it. That was it. Red Crimson Dragon Archfiend, King of Games. So, for the time being, this is probably just what I'm playing flat out. This is a lot of fun. It has a lot of, like, raw power to it. It doesn't care about Lava Golem because you can Shining Star back Red Nova and then just use Lava Golem and Shining Star to Synchro Summon. Which means you at least get Supernova out anyway. On top of all of this, you still have the usual stuff of Abyss being really good, Fiendish Golem, Fiendish Chain. You have your back row wipe and Starlight Security. You have Droplet if necessary, and if you do happen to have Droplet, you can just, not search Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia is just so good. The targeted protection from Tuning Gum comes up more than you'd think. Audrey is just here to be a search tech for Auxilla, which is really funny. Also chain blocks stuff like Skullmeister, so that's really cool, I guess. Like, RDA is just perfect. The skill is perfect. The card support we have is so good. Like, right now, because of the unfortunate death of Synchron, this is probably going to be what I go to for a while. This is just the only thing I can really have fun with that I have fully built right now. Speedroid is power crap. It's literally outclassed. I don't have the rocket stuff built yet, and even then, that just hard dies to Sphere Mode and Lava Golems all day long. It's just a problem. Either way you look at it, yeah. RDA is just where it's at for me right now when it comes to Synchro stuff. Unfortunate, because I would love to keep playing Synchron, but as I'll go over when I do the ban list discussion video, I personally think they killed pure builds for Centur-ion Engine's war crimes and somehow let Centur-ion Engine get away with those war crimes. I think they went about it the completely wrong way. If you're gonna heavily nerf a deck to actually make it feel like, it's a necessity to actually be just shot like crazy, there are ways you really should have done it better. But regardless, Red Dragon Archfiend, still really good, still really fun. That's all I really have to say for this one. Until the next video, whatever it might be. Later, guys.